Good evening and welcome to Pathways, a show dedicated to global healing through inner or spiritual awareness applied. I'm Gail Sanders. This evening we have several guests here to help us explore Krishna consciousness. Welcome. To my right,
Thakor Topiwala.
And the next person is Vatsala.
Vatsala.
Krishna
Das.
And Purnamasi. Welcome all.
It's our pleasure to be here today.
Hare Krishna.
Very well.
Can you start sharing with us the basics, the kind of the base of Krishna consciousness, and where someone would start when they start learning this process of exploring Krishna?
Well, if I could just say one thing to start off, the basis of Krishna consciousness is that we're not this material body. The basis understanding is that we're not this body, we are a spirit soul, we're a spiritual entity that is inhabiting this body. So maybe Krishna Das can say a little bit about how we can move towards that realization.
Yeah, the purpose of the soul, or the prime reason for existence, is to serve God. We were created to serve God. All souls were created to serve God. So by engaging in service to God, we can then realize our eternal position as not these bodies and actually come to self-realization. Many people talk about self-realization, but who are we eternally? That is what we need to find out. Because I've only been in this body for 50-odd years. And who was I before? Who am I after? Who am I eternally? That is real self-realization. And also I'd like to say that Krishna consciousness is a monotheistic religion. There is only one God, but the goal of life is to know, love, and serve God with the whole heart, mind, and soul, which is exactly what many of the other great religions have said.
Also recommend and
Exactly.
suggest is our purpose.
Exactly. So service to God is the goal, and as we said in the last show, that the hearing, it begins with hearing. So hearing the name of God is a very purifying process, and then also reciting the name of God after one has heard it, then that is purifying for the soul also.
Can you explain purification? Is it increased awareness, or is it actually we were at a physically different place and now, for example, health, and now we're at a physically fresher place? Can you explain that?
Well, purification, right now we're covered by the modes of material nature. So we don't have any way of seeing God, of understanding God. And gradually as you become purified, you actually get closer and closer to God, to the point where you can actually see God face to face. And that can happen in this very lifetime if one engages in devotional service or bhakti yoga.
See, in this material world, we are controlled by the three modes of material nature: mode of ignorance, mode of passion, and mode of goodness. In the mode of ignorance, we always act in a sense of a bodily conception of life, and when you are becoming aware of your eternal identity, then your reactions and actions are a little bit different. And that's what this philosophy offers, but the process is offering us to get out of this material body conception of life and work towards our ultimate goal, which is God,
Can you give me a very concrete example where someone is viewing themselves for the material aspect versus an expanded aspect?
Here's an example. Like, take a light. Like there's several lights here in this room, and they're all very white and bright. Now, if you take a covering, like a red covering, and you put it over that light, now it appears to be red. You take a yellow covering and a blue covering. You could put so many coverings over that light that you don't see any light anymore. But that doesn't mean that the original light ceases to exist. So the process of purification is removing those coverings. So now you take the blue one away, you take the red one away, you take the yellow one away, and there's the light.
Okay, so we're really not, in a sense, adding to people. No. We're removing thoughts?
Reviving.
We're reviving.
Reviving. Like when you go to sleep at night, you forget about the body that you're in. And now you're dreaming, and your dream you do all these kind of things, but your body's just laying there. So when you wake up, you say, oh, yeah, I'm Gail. Now I have to go to work, I have to do whatever I have to do. All those things I was doing at night, forget about all that. Now I have to do what I have to do. See? So that's, as this last song we sang last week was Jeev Jago, wake up, sleeping soul. You slept for so long in the lap of the witch called Maya. Maya means that which is not, or we've been engaged in this material energy, been entangled in this material energy for so long. But now wake up to your real position, your eternal position as a spirit soul servant of God.
Okay. I guess the next question is how? How do you wake up?
Well, just like when how do you wake up?
Naturally.
Well, you said, you set an alarm clock if you want to wake up at a certain time. Sound vibration. See, if I come in the room, of course I wouldn't do that in your bedroom, but if I was to come in your bedroom and if I wrote on a board, Gail, wake up, that wouldn't do anything for you, right? I'd have to make some noise, some sound vibration. So the sound vibration of God's holy name wakes us up to the fact that we have an eternal relationship with God. That sound vibration is capable of doing that. It's called transcendental. It's beyond the modes of material nature. As Mr. Topiwala said, in the material world, we have a tendency, due to our association with modes of material nature, to be controlled by them. So this transcendental sound vibration can come and pull us out of that.
See, Krishna consciousness or God consciousness is original within every living being. But we are become conditioned under the modes of nature, just like a fire in the wood. There is a fire always in the wood, but somebody has to light it. Similarly, this process of Krishna consciousness, is so unique, which lights the fire, and help you to purify your existence gradually.
Yeah. It's not an artificial imposition on the mind.
Right.
It's the natural being of the soul to be engaged in service to God, to be glorifying His name, to be working for Him, like that.
And the sound brings us back to that physical ability to do that. Am I interpreting that properly? That the sound actually changes our ability to move through the material world?
It wakes us up to our real self. The example of the light, so the sound helps remove those coverings that are over our original spiritual light.
And are they misconceptions about our current?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so they're misconceptions about our current.
They're misconceptions. Like, I think, well, I'm a carpenter. You ask me, who am I? See, if you were to ask me, who am I might say, well, I'm a carpenter, or I'm a lawyer, or I'm a doctor, or I'm an American, or I'm an African, or I'm a Hindu, or I'm a Jew, or so many bodily designations that we can put upon ourselves. But actually, we're none of those things. Because at one time, you could have asked me when I was 1 year old, who are you? I said, I'm a baby. See? But where is that baby now? See, now I've grown and changed and so forth, and now I've become this kind of person. So, but who am I? I'm that person that you asked, who am I, way back then, the same person. See? If I say, well, am I head? Am I elbow? Am I arm? No, this is my arm, my head. So who is the possessor of? That's who we are. And that's the soul. Because we remain the same person, essentially, although all those bodies have changed. Just like if someone dies, you say, oh, now John is gone. My good friend John is gone. But the body, who we call John's, laying right there.
Right.
So there's evidence that John was something else.
And we knew it.
Because we can't,
Yes.
we don't want to have any relationship with John now that he's dead.
Right.
You see, with the body, because the soul is gone.
That is a very beautiful point. That it doesn't matter which religion you're in. That is a particular thing that we don't. We honor the body and we bury it, but we don't call that our friend anymore. That's our friend has passed over, or so we recognize that already intuitively.